high school where a student, a learner, got a teacher arrested for beating him up. Yo guys, I was thinking, if this was in my country, calling a police officer that this teacher hit me because I did not write my homework. I'm sure in Zim that police officer would hit you first and send you back to school, like go back to school. Are you crazy? Have you lost your mind? What's good, T gang? It is your girl T. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new to this channel, then hit the subscribe button down below. Turn on your post notifications to get notified every time I post a video. Baby, today I'm going to be talking about cultural shocks. The differences between the cultures of a Zimbabwean and a South African. So these are the cultural shocks that I realized when I arrived in South Africa and throughout my years of living in South Africa. So now, I did a video before where I was talking about my experience of moving to South Africa. The title of the video was Things I Wish I Knew Before I Moved to South Africa. I'm just going to put a picture up here and I will leave the link of the video in my description of this video, guys. So I received a lot of hate comments in that video. Some I deleted, some I just ignored, some were just petty arguments. So I'm just going to continue on to this video. Those who have hate comments, you can leave them down below, but I'm not going to reply to them. So let's get down into the video. Cultural shock number one, I'm going to talk about the food. So I did speak about this in my last video. So the food is quite different, the food here and the food from where I come from in Zimbabwe. So the food here in South Africa, what I've realized, most of it is GMOs. So the food, it's genetically modified kind of foods, you know. So you find out maybe you're eating chicken and then the piece of this chicken, the thigh, is big like this. Is because it's genetically modified. So most of the food is like that here in South Africa. It's genetically modified, so it loses its taste. Most of it loses its taste, which is quite different from where I come from, where the food is not genetically modified, so the food has its taste, the food tastes nice. So that is cultural shock number one. I don't know if it's a cultural shock, but then yeah. The other thing is that what I realized here, I saw that they eat uputu. I don't know if I pronounce it correctly. Is it putu or uputu? They eat it with sour milk. I never knew that you can actually make uputu with mealie meal. I really liked it. I really liked uputu with sour milk. I actually hate pap now with sour milk. I only eat uputu with sour milk and it's really nice. Another cultural difference when it comes to food was the acha, mango acha. When I arrived in South Africa, I really hated mango acha. I remember the first time I ate it, I actually almost vomited and I had a crazy headache, guys. But now I'm the master of acha. I can go out, buy acha, eat acha alone with nothing, just acha. I can eat acha and drink tea, and I love acha so much. So let's go to cultural difference number two, which is in schools. I realized that here schools, when I was in primary school or high school, in South Africa they have 4 terms, and in Zimbabwe we have 3 terms. However, I did hear that there are few schools in South Africa that have 3 terms. I don't know how true that is, but most schools in general, they have 4 terms, and the school fees, they pay it monthly, which was a bit different from where I come from, where you pay your school fees termly, like first term, second term, and third term. You don't pay school fees monthly, but they do that here. It was something different from where I come from. Cultural shock number 3, dressing. The way people dress in here. Women can dress freely however they want. I admire that. You can find someone wearing a very short skirt, a very short dress. In Zim, they do wear, I think now they're getting okay with the idea that women can actually wear what they want, but then there's still those few men who still it's still difficult when it comes to women wearing short stuff, because in Zim, even if you walk on the streets, they're going to bother you, they're going to say nasty things to you. But here women can freely wear dresses, short dresses. Of course men do stir, but they're not going to sexually harass you you know, to that extent that they do on the other side. And then cultural shock, when it still comes to schools, let's go to school, back to school. I realized that kids talk back to their teachers. Kids used to talk back to their teachers. I remember when I was in high school, a child would talk back to a teacher. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, what the hell? Did he really do that? Did he talk back to a teacher? Because in Zim, you don't talk back to a teacher. When a teacher is talking, you keep quiet, you know? You keep quiet, you listen to what the teacher is saying. But then here they talk back and then nothing happens. Yo. Nothing happens, you know. You argue, you get into an argument with the teacher. And then another thing I realized, this is when I was now in high school, where a student, a learner, got a teacher arrested for beating him up. Yo guys, I was thinking, if this was in my country, calling a police officer that this teacher hit me because I did not write my homework. I'm sure in Zim, that police officer would hit you first and send you back to school, like go back to school. Are you crazy? Have you lost your mind? This teacher is hitting you because you didn't write your homework and you call me. Why? So I realized that that learner actually called a police officer that come to the school, come arrest this teacher, and that teacher was taken to the police station. Guys, this was a really shocking thing to me. I think of all the things I've been shocked with in South Africa, this was the most shocking, that a learner can get a teacher arrested. Not only a teacher, I've heard a few stories and I know a few people actually personally that got their parents arrested because they beat them up. Getting your parent arrested, guys. Guys, getting your own parent arrested because they beat you up. I cannot say, maybe whatever happened was way too much and they had to report it. I don't know, but if it's circumstances like your parent is disciplining you, do you really have to call the police on your parent to get them arrested? I don't know. I only started seeing it here in South Africa. Another cultural thing I realized is people are free in this country. It's a good thing. There's so much freedom, especially freedom of speech. Well, I'm not a political person, but then in Zim you don't have a freedom of speech. You don't just talk, you know, say things, especially politically related things. But here you can, and you can say it freely, and no one does anything to you. But in Zim it's a different story. Like if you talk about things opposing the party in leadership, then you're gonna be in deep trouble. You don't do that. But here you can even see someone walking around wearing an EFF t-shirt, wearing a DA t-shirt, and it's okay. But back in Zim, it's not so okay, because you might even get in trouble. I don't know about now because I haven't been back home in quite a long time, but back in the days you would get in serious trouble. You don't go against the party in leadership, okay? Yeah. I realized another thing, in South Africa they have grants. I love that. They have grants, especially for the elderly. I love it for the elderly because it's a good thing for the elderly. Now they're old, they can't work, so they just go and receive their grants. It's a good thing. The one that I'm actually against is the child grants to the people who just give birth, and then just know that I'm gonna get a grant. I'm just a bit against that, but then who am I to speak? Let's go to the issue of abortion. It is legal. I was so shocked that abortion is illegal and they advertise it. I see posters on the streets when I walk, safe abortion, safe abortion. Okay, I don't think it's South Africans who put up those posters anyway, the safe abortion things on the streets, but it's there. Like you can see that the freedom to express abortion is there. It's legal, but now in South Africa there's diversity. I want to touch on the LGBTQ community. I'm not against it. I am for the LGBTQ. It's a good thing. I love it, and people are so free to express themselves, that I'm actually gay, I'm lesbian, transgender. They are free to express themselves without being discriminated against. Of course, there are few homophobic people who are still out there that we live amongst, but then in general in South Africa they can generally express their sexuality, which is different from Zimbabwe, and I believe a few more other African countries that are so against the thing of sexuality. You just know that someone is straight, finish, that's it. You're either guy or girl, you're either a man or a woman, and if you're a woman you date men, and if you're a man you date women, period. And you do not express other sexual things like lesbian, especially in Zim. You do not. I've never seen a gay person in Zim. Nas, I have never. Unless if they're there and they keep it inside. I've never seen a gay, I've never seen a lesbian in Zimbabwe. Never, ever, ever, ever. You don't express that. You don't. It's abomination to be lesbian, to be gay, to be transgender, to be queer, something like whatever. It's abomination. But here you have freedom to express your sexuality. It's a good thing I loved about SA. Another thing I loved is the greeting parts. Oh my god, South Africans greet, guys. When I first arrived here, I would just walk past someone, you know. I just don't walk in the street saying hi, dumelang, or sanbonani, or molweni. It's not something we do in my country. You just greet random strangers on the street just because I passed you. Why should I greet you? But then here they greet. So I actually adopted to that system that when I just pass someone, especially an elderly, I greet dumelang, molweni, sanbonani, whatever culture they are or whatever area I am in, because I'm very diverse. I can speak South African languages, so I do greet according to their language, just to show, you know, I'm acknowledging that I'm passing an elderly. Let's talk about teenage pregnancy. It is so high in South Africa. It's so high, so shocking, because it has become a norm. You know, at my age, when I walk around and they ask me, do you have a child? And I say no. Then they say, why don't you have a child? Or are you sure you're fertile? Guys, how do you ask a 23-year-old if they're sure they're fertile? Like, at 23 years old, I should be questioning my fertility. Guys, come on. So it has become a normal thing in kids outside of marriage, which is not so popular where I come from. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but then even if it happens, it's not popular. We just don't have kids outside of marriage. Teenage pregnancy it's an abomination. It's an abomination. Here it's normal. You know, you have a kid, you give the kid to your mother when you give birth and go back to school. Zimbabwean mothers don't play like that. They don't play like that. Let's talk about how South Africans take pride in their culture. South Africans take pride in their culture. When I came here, you know, a Pedi dresses like this, a Zulu dresses like this, a Swati dresses like this, you know, Afrikaners dress like this. They take pride in their cultures. All cultures in South Africa, you know, they have their different type of dressings, which is not so common in Zim, where you find people wearing traditional clothes. People in Zim, I don't know why they're so a bit skeptical about cultural people, because I noticed here in South Africa you can wear your cultural things and even walk into the shop. You can even sangomas, they can wear their things and go into the shop. In Zim, you don't do that. You don't wear your sangoma things. In Zim they're called naga. You don't wear your things and go into the shop, because people are going to look at you funny, people are going to say things, people are going to be scared of you. But it's just different here in South Africa. People just acknowledge that, okay, this is a sangoma and it's fine. But in Zim it's different. And I noticed that here, if you can be a Christian and be a cultural person at the same time, but in Zim you can't be a Christian and a cultural person. You have to choose. You have to choose, are you either Christian or you're a cultural person? That's it. It ends there. Another, I don't know if this is a cultural shock, but I realized that in South Africa, when an accident happens, the police, ambulances, everyone gets there quick, fast. They don't waste time. in 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes, there's already ambulance, police, everyone is there on the accident zone. They're clearing out, they're controlling traffic. Yo, that's a good thing. I was so shocked that, yo, this happened so fast in Zim. Huh? If there's an accident, they can even leave that thing there for I don't know how many hours, and it becomes a hazard on the road. So in South Africa, it's quite different. They do things fast for the safety of everyone on the road. That is a good thing. And then the last thing I realized is, yo, people take things on credit here. People are just used to credit, you know. I almost fell in that trap. You know, people are used to taking things on credit and they don't mind. I saw someone taking an iron on credit, guys. Yo, I know. Taking an iron on credit, like, guy, come on. You can pay for this iron cash and just go with your iron. So yeah, the credit culture here is very common. While in Zim, people are used to paying things cash. You find out even a car, someone just takes the car cash. But then here is installments, you know, paying installments, almost everything. But an iron was a shock for me, like, bruh, come on. Anyway, guys, we've reached the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, then give it a thumbs down, and leave your comment down below on why you didn't like it, because I'm just voicing out my own opinions. So yeah, hit the subscribe button down below, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you in my next video, guys. Bye.